There are moments in life when even the strongest feel like giving up, even prophets. This is the story of Elijah, a man of fire, a man of miracles, a man of great courage, and yet a man who ran. But what happened in the wilderness wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something deeper. This is the story of how God meets us not just in fire or storm, but in our weakness, with food, rest, and hope. Part 1. The threat. Elijah had just called down fire from heaven. He stood on Mount Carmel and faced off against 450 prophets of Baal. He prayed and God answered with fire. The people fell on their faces and said, "The Lord, He is God." It was a victory for truth, a triumph of faith. But not everyone celebrated. Queen Jezebel, filled with fury, sent a message to Elijah, "May the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like one of them." Elijah had faced kings. He had faced prophets. He had faced drought and famine. But Jezebel's threat broke him. He ran. Part 2. Into the wilderness, Elijah fled south beyond Judah, beyond Beersheba. He left his servant behind and walked a day's journey into the desert. The heat pressed down. His feet dragged. His heart was heavy. He sat down under a broom tree, a lone desert shrub, and he prayed, not for strength, but for death. "I have had enough. Lord," he said, "take my life. I am no better than my ancestors." Then he lay down and fell asleep. Part 3. The touch. Silence in the wilderness. But then a touch. Gentle, warm, an angel. "Get up and eat," the angel said. Elijah opened his eyes. Beside him was bread, baked over hot coals, and a jar of water. Simple, but sacred. He ate and drank and lay down again. And again the angel came, touched him, spoke gently, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." Part 4. Strength for the journey. Elijah got up. He ate, he drank, and strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the mountain of God. There, in a cave, God would meet him, not in wind, not in earthquake, but in a whisper. But that moment the whisper began with bread in the desert, with rest, with kindness, with a divine meal made, not in a palace, but under a broom tree. Part 5. God meets the weary. Elijah didn't need a sermon. He didn't need a miracle. He needed sleep. He needed food. He needed presence. And that's what God gave him. Sometimes, the most spiritual thing we can do is rest. Sometimes, the most sacred act is eating bread given by grace. Elijah didn't rise up a hero that day. He rose up fed, and that was enough. Because the journey was long, but God walked with him. Closing reflection. If you've ever felt like Elijah, tired, afraid, alone, know this: God sees, God cares, and God comes close. Not always in fire, but sometimes in the quiet, in the touch, in the bread. This is the story of Elisha and the angel's meal. A story of mercy in the wilderness. A story of strength for the weary. A story for us. And strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. Subscribe to Bible Stories 1989 for more powerful, cinematic Bible stories brought to life with faith and beauty.